Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fantasy Dirt live stream for week 7. Let's get your lineups right. Fabs and I are going to take your start sits questions here and make sure that you've got the right people in. There's some tough choices this week, I think, Fabs, especially with regards to some of these injuries and like how seriously we're taking them, even though they're in. Aaron Jones is kind of a question mark for me. He's active, but the way that they've talked about him is like he's going to give it a go. He's going to test it out.
You don't want to hear that, yeah.
No,
I mean, at least we did get some good news though. Like, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to play tomorrow night. Mike Evans is going to play tomorrow night. So like we're not having to worry about whether or not we should play them or not. We're good to go with those players. So that's some good news. But I'm already bummed out. Ramondre Stevenson. I mean,
you're bummed out about Ramondre Stevenson?
Looks like he's going to go. Yeah, well, because he hadn't done anything in this game. And
I was watching. You had
game.
high hopes for Ramondre Stevenson.
No, I didn't. But like, in a couple of leagues, I had to play him, and the Jaguars' defense is not very good, and he's done nothing. And what's funny is that I was watching the game, and I saw a running back with a 3 on his jersey and dread score a touchdown, and I'm like, oh, that's Stevenson, and it wasn't. It was Jermichael Hasty. I'm like, oh man. So yeah, but and listen, I mean. From a game perspective, Dre May looks good. The great Fabini, I channeled him earlier in the week, and he told everybody to start Drake May. Tank Bigsby, let's pour one out for Travis Etienne's fantasy value because he's probably done, which is depressing. But Jacksonville's offense has kind of shown up today.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you play the Patriots. 25-16, the current score there. Tank Bigsby with 23 attempts for 108 yards on the ground. Brian Thomas also with a pretty solid outing so far with 5 catches on 5 targets, 89 yards, and a touchdown. Hope you played him. So let's get to the starts and sits here. In terms of actives and inactives, Fab's already mentioned some of them. All of the Colts receivers are playing. All of the Packers receivers are playing. That they were all in some way, shape, or form questionable, which is a little scary, but they're all going to be out there for Anthony Richardson in the Colts case, who will be starting for the first time since he suffered that oblique injury and for the first time since he appeared as a guest on our show earlier this week. We've been pretty good luck for the guests on our show, Fabs. Luke Weaver was on a roll there for a couple of weeks after he was on our show.
And last night, 2 innings. Yankees.
There you go.
The Yankees win. And I just lost all of our Red Sox listeners, but hey guys, you had a nice run. So it's the Yankees' turn now. Now I'm rooting for the Mets. By the way, I don't want to talk baseball, but I'm rooting for the Mets.
Okay.
I want a Subway Series. I don't want to play the Dodgers.
I bet you don't. In terms of actives and inactives at the running back position, James Cook active, Nick Chubb active. We're going to get a chance to see him for the first time. We already knew that Jonathan Taylor was going to be inactive. That's the case. Jerome Ford inactive in that Cleveland backfield with Nick Chubb. But, by the way, weird things happening in Cleveland because we're all crawling for Jameis Winston to be the starter instead of Deshaun Watson. Instead, they demote him to number 3, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson will be the 2 this week.
Unless Winston is like hurt and we don't know about it, that is an absolute statement from the Browns to everyone saying we're sticking with Deshaun Watson. It's like the captain of the Titanic. He's going down with the ship. That's what they're doing.
Like, you don't have to do it emphatically. You're doing it by putting him out on the field. Like, that's all you need to do. We all know what's happening there. You don't actually want him to be your starter, whatever. Let's move on to the start sit questions. Vegas Doug. Where are we starting? We're starting with Mark H. And this is a Singletary, Algier, or is this Amari Cooper? Is there another Cooper that I'm?
Well, unless it's Cooper Kupp, but he used all last names. So I'm guessing that it's probably Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. I'd probably go Algier here. Algier is getting burned. Atlanta's offense, that backfield looks good. I don't trust Singletary because we've heard Brian Daboll come out and say that Tyrone Tracy is still going to get some burn.
Oh, yeah. Offense. And should.
And Amari Cooper, I don't know. It's hard for me because I don't know how much of that offense he's picked up in a very short period of time. I don't know if he's going to be on some sort of limitation in terms of his steps. I have no idea. So, and the matchup's not great. Tennessee's been good. Right. I know. Did we see if Snead was active? I'm guessing he might have been. I've got to take a look at that. But I'm going to go Algier here. I'm going to go Algier.
All right.
Algier's been good. Algier's been good. I want to take a look real quick. Oh, you know what? L'Jarius Sneed is not active. That makes Amari Cooper a little bit more attractive, kids.
I think, like, I don't want to
I'm
argue
still going
with
Algier.
you. Okay.
I'm still going Algier.
I'm going to narrow it down. We're gonna get one of them out here in that Singletary. He likes Algier. I think I would play Amari Cooper. I think Amari Cooper is the better talent. We haven't seen it. I think he's just desperate to show that he can still play football. I think Josh Allen is desperate to throw the ball to somebody who can catch it and maybe help out. I think, and especially with what you're saying about Sneed, I think I would go Amari Cooper. So I think that those are your two options. And
you know what? Go with Cooper. Go with Lindsay. That's fine.
I win. Hi, Heidi. Good morning to you also. Singletary or Tyrone Tracy. God, this one's a weird one if you're going either or. In this case, I think I would go Tyrone because I think that's what it should be. Now, will Daboll but Daboll has said this week, he has earned more opportunities, right? Like, so I think that they're on board here. I think that that's what the coach speak index would tell us about this situation. And I think I'd go there. He's been so much better.
I'll agree with you because he's the more explosive player, but this could totally be a 50-50 split.
But even if it is a 50-50 split and you're literally just choosing between these two, don't you think Tyrone is the better one?
Well, that's what I'm saying. More explosive player.
Yeah. Okay. Ayuk, Shakir, or Noah Brown?
Yeah, you know what, Heidi? And like, I understand. Ayuk's been bad. And the Chiefs defense is really good against perimeter receivers. I can't sit him.
Me too.
With those two options.
I know.
Because Shakir's, Cooper's there now.
But I think Shakir gets a bump.
Think about, I'd still start Brandon Ayuk.
I would still start Brandon Ayuk too.
Gross.
But I will say this about Shakir. I think that Shakir will get a bump from Amari Cooper being there. I think, that now they have two better wide receivers, right? Like that always helps someone else on the field when you have a presence like that will at least draw defensive attention. So I don't think that this is a bad move for Khalil Shakir's fantasy value, but like it's at least Ayuk did give us a 20-point game a couple of weeks ago. So like it's been really bad. And then what? Yeah. No, I know. I'm saying it's been consistently bad, but then there's that one pop, and it's that one pop that we're chasing because we know he has the talent to do it. So I agree. I would go Ayuk in this situation, and Shakir would be my second option. Hi, Sleek. Happy Sunday to you. Also, full point PPR. We need two of these three. We're looking at Marvin Harrison Jr., Josh Downs, Devontae Adams. I'm putting Devontae Adams in as one of my three. I'm playing him in one and done this week, partially because of what I said about like Amari Cooper needing to prove something. Mm-hmm. I think Aaron Rodgers needs to prove something. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to feed to Devontae Adams. I can see a touchdown in his future. I'm not a big bettor, but like an anytime touchdown prop, depending on what the odds were, I might not hate that for Devontae Adams. I think that this is one where they have to win the battle of PR this week. Also win the game, because if they're 2-5 after they make this trade, woof.
Yeah. So Lindsay gave you Devontae. I'm going to go Downs. I like
Marvin Harrison.
I like Marvin Harrison Jr., but the Chargers defense is good.
Yeah, and
so yeah,
and Downs and he hasn't been like that. Offense has been weird. That Cardinals offense. I thought that they were going to be sneaky good, and it hasn't clicked yet. Mm-hmm. There's still time. Jordan Mason or Josh Jacobs? Full point PPR.
Cyborg Ninja. Jordan Mason. I hate Jacobs' matchup today. Hate it. Hate.
And he also hasn't been that great. He hasn't been what we wanted him to be.
I know.
Yeah. Good morning from beautiful Winnipeg. Good morning to you. Is it freezing there? I'm curious about what the weather is like in Winnipeg right now. Najee Harris, Devon Achane, Standard League, Fabs. Actually, I think I could do this one even.
Yeah, you got this one.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping now that you've said that, I feel a lot of pressure. I would go Najee in this particular case because Achane has been.
I know. I get it. Achane's a playmaker. I'd rather go with Achane, honestly.
But he just hasn't done anything on the ground. All of his fantasy production this year has been as a receiver.
Colts defense is not good though, so I feel like I'd rather go Achane. By the way, Winnipeg. Do the Winnipeg Jets still even exist? But that's one of the it's hockey. Winnipeg. I mean, hockey's big up there.
Yeah, I'm aware.
But what I'm saying is that I don't follow hockey. But what I'm saying is that the Jets that's one of the when you do trivia, that's one of the teams names that actually is in multiple sports. The Jets, that kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you for
bar trivia kind of stuff.
chiming in there, Fabs.
Rangers.
Who's next? Guillermo from Twitter. What about Kareem Hunt? This is an interesting one. I think I would go Kareem Hunt in this situation. The other option being to start Goodson. Goodson's going to split time.
Yes, Kareem Hunt. Yes, please.
Yeah, Goodson's going to split time. And Goodson, by the way, I have a block on his last name. And I did it on
Tyler Goodson.
Yeah, well, that's his first name. So you gave me his last name in Goodson, but I was talking to my husband today. We were talking about Trey Sermon, and I'm like, no, he's splitting time in the backfield. And he's like, with who? And I was like, Tyler Goodson or Goodwin, or like, for whatever reason, I just can't do that last name in that situation. Anyway, sorry. Didn't need that aside. Troy is sitting Mason for Pollard and Jacobs. What do you think? I think that we would rather play Mason than Jacobs.
Yes, correct. Yep. Mm-hmm. I have heard nothing about any kind of snap limit for Jordan Mason. He was removed from the injury report completely. So unless the 49ers are screwing with us, and they can't do that by the rules, Mason should be a full go.
Yep. And he's been so good. I mean, that's a backfield where I think that's one of those things where when we learn, especially looking at like advanced stats, one of the things I'm learning this year in terms of like rushing yards over expectation is that it doesn't tell us a story about the individual talent as much as it tells us about the entire team, or maybe even the defense that they're facing. Last week, when you go look at like rushing yards over expectation leaders for the week, it's 2 guys on the same team, 2 guys on the same team, 2 guys and a quarterback on the same team. Like the leaders are oftentimes on the same team. And this is a long-winded way of saying it's always the Niners and Garindo and like whoever it is just steps in and they just smash. So the environment is one I always want access to. And so that's Jordan Mason today. Hi, ARX87. Gino or Burrow, 1 point PPR. And then we'll get to the wide receivers.
Boy, it's close. Because I actually like Gino. In this game, this is going to end up being. I'm going to check my rankings because I want to make sure that I give you the correct information. I've got Gino ranked in the top 11. I have him 11th. I have Burrow at 7. Cleveland's tanking this year. Cleveland's just not very good. You remember even at home last year, we were saying, Cleveland's tough. They're just not a good team. I could see starting Gino. I think it's very close. But I'm going to go Burrow. But go ahead.
Burrow's been like a little bit under the radar good at fantasy this year.
Lately, like he's been really good. Yeah.
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 And I don't know that he's, because nobody's really talking about the team. Like the Bengals are just like a team that's really flying under the radar under the circumstances. That makes sense. But I think I agree with you about Cleveland. Cleveland's defense falling off is the surprising thing that's happened this year. Because at the very least, we thought we could count on that.
Between the 2 wide receivers, I'm going Garrett Wilson. I don't like Pickens at all today. Like if I can avoid Pickens against Sauce, I would do that. I just don't love him. I don't know what kind of rapport he has with Russell Wilson. I have no clue. So I'm going to keep him on the sidelines.
Well, he stayed after practice to put in extra reps with Russell Wilson because it was his first start. He's the one who broke the news to us.
Yeah, I know. George Pickens just keeps messing up. He's a guy that just maybe shouldn't talk. Yeah, just don't talk.
Yeah. I know. He's probably like, he's probably like a great guy over there.
Yeah.
And he just like does all the things on the surface that make it feel otherwise. I don't know. Next up is Easy Raider 916. Nothing's been easy for the Raiders this year. Sorry, buddy. Fergie on a bye. So we're looking at Kraft or Schultz, full point PPR tight end.
Honestly, don't love either. I'm going to go Kraft though. Okay. I don't love either one. I'm starting Kraft in a league and I don't really.
Me too.
The Texans are tough against tight ends, but Schultz, even though like we saw last week where no Nico, you would think there'd be more targets. The numbers just aren't there. Schultz has not had one good game all year long. So unless you want to go with he's due, I'm going to go Kraft.
No, I go with Kraft as a just, regular part of the offense. And sometimes it's going to hit and sometimes it's not going to hit because there's a lot of mouths to feed there. Well, we've passed our expiration date on this question.
Guillermo, Kareem Hunt's your start because Stevenson's been playing and not well, and so it's good that you didn't
We
play
made
him.
the right choice.
He's been
Unless
bad.
he gets like negative fantasy points, I think we nailed that one.
Yep.
All right, thoughts on JSN versus Mostert at the flex?
I'd rather play JSN. Most of the matchup's good. Again, I mean, listen, the Colts defense, like you can certainly do some work, but Mostert's done nothing. JSN has been under the radar, like consistent. He's not putting up like these crazy bananas points, but he's reliably in the low to mid double digits. And I think it's going to be a high scoring game against Atlanta. So I'm going to go with JSN. Okay. I think Bigsby just scored another touchdown. Woo! My Travis Etienne shares are crying right now.
I don't have any, so mine are not.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a 32-16 score. Well, Doug Peterson's going to make it back to the States with a job intact. Steve Guzman.
Maybe we need to bring back the great Fabini this upcoming week. Fabini's it's a good pick so far. I didn't hear them because I channel him, and then I don't know what goes on, but I heard he made some good picks.
Yeah. Yep. Steve Guzman, need to start 2 out of the 3. Marvin Harrison Jr., Terry McLaurin, Jamison Williams. For me, it's the last 2. Terry McLaurin, Jamison Williams.
I would agree.
Yay!
I love Jamison. I love Jamison. Yeah.
Tootsie Pop. Rachel.
What's up, buddy?
Happy that you're here. This is for Scott Fishbowl, so change your scoring settings in your brain, Fabs, okay?
So depressed over Scott Fishbowl.
Oh, I'm only 9th out of like 4,000 people.
Yeah, I know, but I was first for 3 weeks, and you know what? I started Cortland Sutton, nothing, and then Alvin Kamara sucked on Thursday too. So,
here,
I know. I mean, I'm not having a good. And I lost Rashid Shaheed, which made me cry. So for Scott Fish. I know. I mean, Neighbors is coming back, so I'm probably going Zach Moss here.
I don't like any of these options, but
I don't love them either. But
I will say this: there are people I'm playing in Scott Fish that I don't like either because there's so many flex spots. So I totally understand the question, and I think I go Zach Moss. If Neighbors is, I mean, with Neighbors back, like you can't play Slayton; he doesn't do anything for you. So
yeah.
Nevin, hello. Good morning to you also. We're looking at 2 of these. Mooney, who's been like the entire Atlanta offense. The fact that we're looking at Darnell Mooney being as playable as he is, and then Ray McLeod as a guy that you could float through your lineup. Like what's happening in the year 2024? Or we're looking at Devontae Adams or Alexander Madison in a standard league. Okay, standard is the important part there in terms of Madison being considered.
So if Zamir was not playing, I'd probably go with Madison. I'd feel a little bit more comfortable with him, but I'm going Mooney and Adams. Again, that could be a high scoring game against Seattle, and Adams, like Lindsay said, I think they got a little something to prove. Like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams got a little something to prove, and I would not be surprised if on a national stage that Aaron Rodgers targets Devontae Adams 8 to 12 times in this game.
Yeah, like of all the people in the entire NFL who most wants to be right, like it's Aaron Rodgers. There's no way he's not going to feed his buddy so that on Monday, everyone's like, what a great trade that was. He was right. He did need that. Anyway, I can't hide how I feel about that situation. Mooney and Adams are my answers there, even though it's standard. Man, the Raiders just can't get anything going. So I don't trust that he's not going to end up with like 30 rushing yards, which doesn't help you at all. Kaylin, who to start at PPR, Garrett Wilson or Wan'Dale Robinson? I think it's Garrett. And I don't know why I hesitated. I don't know why I hesitated.
Yeah, I'm going to go, because Wan'Dale Robinson's been good.
Yeah.
But Garrett Wilson has been nails lately. I mean, Garrett Wilson has been awesome the last couple of weeks. Obviously, now the ceiling takes a hit with Adams there. The matchup's not great at the big catch-up bottle, but I'm still going Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, it's got to be Garrett Wilson. I just dropped Wan'Dale Robinson in the league, and I didn't want to drop him. I had to in order to make room for like a kicker and a defense maneuvering situation, and I have more depth at wide receiver than I have at running back. So anyway, like I had to let him go kicking and screaming. I think what happens with Wan'Dale Robinson with Malik Neighbors coming back is that his ceiling takes a hit, and he's still offering you like a 10-point floor. Like you're probably looking at 10 to 12 from Wan'Dale. I just think the ceiling is higher for Garrett Wilson. Christian Watson or Xavier Worthy, full point PPR.
Yeah, I'm going to go Worthy here.
Me too.
The Packers just have so many mouths to feed in that offense. It's hard to. And Watson, I think, is one of the lesser mouths, I guess you could say, right after, Jaden Reed, for
He has
example.
a smaller mouth,
But I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna go Worthy.
less of an appetite.
Ramondre
Yeah,
Stevenson, by the way, is going to finish with 4.5 fantasy points. Mother puss bucket.
I mean,
All right.
yeah, Xavier Worthy for me. 2. Yeah. All right, where are we going next? Thank you very much, David, for being here. Paul Vieira, flex, half-point PPR. We're looking at James Conner, who I know we don't like that much this week, but let's continue to look at the other options.
I'm
is
guessing
it
that's Jordan Mason. Yeah,
okay, Jordan Mason or Jordan Addison. That would be
Again,
funny
Jordan
if
Mason
it was
for me.
Jordan Madison and Jordan Addison.
Yeah, I know.
because they rhymed.
Mason is the play for me.
Yeah.
I do like Jordan Addison though.
I do too.
I do like Addison. I'm starting him in a couple leagues against Detroit.
I do too. But you got to go with Mason just in the volume coming out of that backfield. Juju or Worthy?
So here I'm going Juju. Last time he was out there, he got targeted a ton.
What?
Mahomes, but Worthy's not a volume receiver, Lindsay. That's the problem.
I know. I'm saying Juju, like what's happening here that we are targeting Juju that frequently.
And Juju is a volume. Well, I mean, he was at least the last time we saw him out there. He's a volume type of guy.
Yep.
So
same. Thank you very much, Andre. Good morning. Oh boy, he's a Yankees fan, Fabs.
Here come the Yankees.
All right, it's a happy Sunday for you two. We are looking for a flex in a PPR format. Jordan Mason, Chase Brown, Brandon Ayuk, or Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah. Again, I mean Jordan Mason. I don't have any fear with Mason in this game. The matchup, the Chiefs defense is pretty good, but Mason's in a system where running backs typically thrive, and again, he was off the injury report. Like he's not on the injury report, which means by the definition, he should be 100%. Yeah, so I'm going with him.
In terms of ways like they can tell us sort of undercurrents with injuries, it's the opposite of Aaron Jones, where we're getting like, he's gonna try it out. Anyway, next up, thank you very much, Andre, for being here, guys. If you are here and you're not used to being here, by the way, and are maybe unfamiliar with the podcast, Fantasy Dirt is the podcast through Sports Illustrated, Lindsay and Fabs, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We're there taking you through the entire fantasy flow of the week. We'll be reacting to today's games tomorrow. And so you can find that podcast wherever you get your podcasts, like an easy, 40 minutes to listen to on your commute.
Oh, and by the way, at the end of today's live
What are we doing, Fabs? What are we doing?
I have a helmet that we're going to be giving away, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. I'll show you guys the helmet. So
can you tease the team so if somebody wants to stick around because they are interested in that?
Yes, the Houston Texans.
Oh, a Houston Texans.
Every time I hear Houston, I think of Houston, we have a problem. And I think of Houston from Superman 2 when General Zod thought it was Planet Houston.
You are a special human being. Jay Will wants to know if he should start Deontay Johnson. Who's J-Mo? Why should I?
Jameson Williams.
Okay, duh. Okay. Jameson Williams or Juju.
Jay Will, and she calls me a special human being. I want to stick and wait and see what happens if Deontay Johnson is active because he's in a smash spot against the Commanders. And if he doesn't play, then at least you can pivot towards Juju. But Deontay is in a really good position, so let's hope he's active. And that's not until 4:00.
In my defense, if the M is capitalized in JMO, it's more an indication that
don't get so defensive. It's fine. You're good.
I'm just saying. Okay. If the M had been lowercase, then I would have known it. But if you're going J and M, then it makes it look like it's almost like Jordan Mason, but you mixed up the vowels. That's all I'm saying, okay? My brain can't handle a random capitalized M. I try to make sense of it. Sorry. Okay. Let's see what we have next. Are we going to go to Nick from Facebook who wants to know if he should start James Cook or J.K. Dobbins half-point PPR?
Here's the thing, Nick. I mean, I don't know why you can't start both. Because both, I'm going to go Dobbins if you only got to pick one, because I like his matchup and he's been fire lately.
Yeah.
he's been fired. Ray Davis is going to be active for the Bills too, but I'm not saying that's going to be a committee. But I'd go Dobbins here, but it's hard for me not to ask, why can't you start both? You must have a really damn good roster.
Do you guys notice how he's like trying to incorporate every youthful phrase into his lexicon? Like, he's been fire, guys.
Dude, you're so cringe.
That guy's super mid.
You're not even mid. You're not even mid. You're certainly not Aura 1000. You are cringy, Rhodes.
Oh Lord. All right. I can get behind J.K. Dobbins. They want to run the ball. That's all they want to do. Chase Brown or Jordan Whittington, PPR.
Charlie Arena. I'm going Chase Brown.
Me too. Yep. Especially with Cooper back. Shakir over Cooper. Ooh, that's an interesting one. A couple of Buffalo Bills.
I have Cooper ahead of Shakir. I have Cooper. I just call it a gut, ranking. I would go with Cooper. Cooper's it ain't like Cooper hasn't been in the situation before. He's been traded like 100 times. So
all right. I'm also just I'm yes. Okay. Sorry. I'm trying to the Cooper brought up like that I needed to go look up what is happening with Cooper Cup because we're still like trending and we don't have a final answer.
I mean, I'm guessing that's Amari Cooper, yeah. So
no, 100%. It just made alarm bells go off in my head about Cooper Cup.
Maybe I'll text Jordan and see if she knows anything.
Do that. My guess is if she did, she would have tweeted it. Jordan Rodriguez, who's an outstanding Rams reporter, one of my favorite NFL reporters right now. So Baker or Allen at quarterback. Okay, this is a crazy, crazy answer that's about to come out of my mouth. I think I would start Baker
Mayfield. We have entered the bizarro world. We've been in the
bizarro
world. I know. I actually have Baker Mayfield ranked ahead of Josh Allen too.
Yes.
It's crazy, dude.
He's been so good this year. He has been consistently high performing. He is one of I know he's top 3. Is he 3?
Yes.
In fantasy production this year?
Let me give you a little advice. Trade Baker. Try and trade him or trade Josh Allen. Listen, this is week 7. I mean, this is not like a tiny sample size of games.
And it's not even just week 7. He was good last year too. The offense is good. He's in a rhythm. There's a reason we're seeing what we're seeing.
Yeah,
Evans, Godwin.
Last year. Yeah. Yep.
He's got dudes. And now he's got running backs that can run. This is like my dig.
It is crazy that we're saying this. Grant Hardaway.
It's Mayfield.
Any relation to Penny? Or Tim. Mayfield is the
never
answer
heard
again.
That before. You're clever.
Now I'm worried. Now if we start talking about Mayfield, I'm starting to get worried that we throw the hex on him.
You're right.
But he's playing the Ravens. They're not any good against the pass. I got to play Mayfield.
We are in
if you put
territory.
Baker Mayfield's stats and it was Patrick Mahomes' name or Josh Allen's name or Jalen Hurts' name, and somebody said, should you sit him? You'd say, you're a freaking nut. There's no way I'd sit that guy. Baker Mayfield, man.
Okay. I'm getting scared. J.K. Dobbins or David Montgomery?
You're
gonna let me. I know, because you just want to, you're like, and the reason why, everyone, in case you don't know how his little brain works, or big brain, whatever, his brain. I didn't mean to say it was little. I'm just saying like how your brain works. David Montgomery was on the podcast last week. He was so lovely. We both love him a lot. Fabs traded numbers, and now they've been texting back and forth and stuff like that. So now he's one of his boys.
Celebrity name drop.
So Fabs will never say anything that could be perceived as negative about David Montgomery. I know. Well, but you're right.
Lindsay
I guess
so that's on you.
Here's
that's
the point.
Celebrity name drop.
Here's the point. The fact that he didn't rush to answer means that he thinks it's J.K. Dobbins, but he doesn't want to say it because he loves David Montgomery and he's loyal. I'm
going Montgomery. He hasn't scored fewer than 15 points in a game all year long.
No, but he's got the Vikings D.
I don't care. I'm going David Montgomery. I would be able to.
I love David Montgomery, and I would love to play both of them. That's the truth of it. But if you have both of these two and you can only play one, I'm playing J.K. Dobbins against a terrible Cardinals defense. That's the obvious one.
Was that Charles Barkley you tried to be there?
Horrible.
And then at wide receiver, I'm going DK over Dell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You told somebody on Twitter. I don't mean to call you out. But I just, I was on. No, I'm not. It's not a call. It's not even a call out. Dell hasn't played.
There we go.
But it was a Brian Thomas Jr. or Dell. And this morning, I was like, Brian Thomas Jr. is playing pretty well. So now there's like a little bit of pressure on Dell to step up because,
Yep. It was close, though. It was close. Yeah. Brian Thomas Jr. is awesome.
Top 5 load arcs. We're looking for a flex here. And it's George Pickens, who we've established we don't love, but other options are Wandell, Worthy, Najee, or Mostert. Okay, I don't love any of these options, so I don't know where you're gonna go with this one, Fabs.
So
it's not gonna be Wandell.
Only one. I'm going Najee in a half-point PPR. Jordan just got back to me, and she even isn't really sure about Cooper Kupp. She said she hasn't seen him work out on turf yet, and it's too close to call. So,
yeah. All right. That's a 4:00 game, so we're gonna have to make some decisions before then. The fact that it's close to call scares me, you guys.
Here's what
if you have another good wide receiver, bump down weight. Like I have him on a bench in a league where I have him right now, but I happen to, in this scenario, have 3 other very good wide receivers. So I'm trying to trade Cooper Kupp, but that hasn't worked so far.
I would, if you have Cooper Kupp, it might be smart to handcuff him with Whittington, who might be on the waiver wire. And then this way, like if, there
are other games in the afternoon.
Whittington in there.
It doesn't have to be
I know.
him.
But I think that might be the best option if you're not, if you don't have, because how many 4:00 games are there today? There's only 3. So you're not that many.
But then also Sunday night, Monday night.
Sure.
So you've got 5 games to choose from if you get stuck in that situation. But that's something. I'm just unplugging lights here, like a dunce. But you have to look at that situation right now.
Speaking to the microphone, Lindsay.
Well, I can't because I'm trying to replug in my light because I'm, knocking things over here.
You looked wonderful. I didn't even notice a difference, light or no light. You still look glorious.
Okay. Did we give him an answer?
In the morning on the West Coast.
Najee.
Yes, Najee. I said Najee. Yeah.
All right. Okie doke. Kenneth Walker active. It's his birthday. Okay. Did anyone else notice that Schefter included that in the tweet on his 24th birthday? Kenneth Walker will be active despite an illness. I was like, is this his low-key way of telling fantasy people that, like, because people are like revenge game, birthday game. Some people. Mostly Sandra, our old producer.
Yeah, our old producer. Yeah. Listen, I'm going Jordan Mason over Ken Walker. I don't know how you can't start both. But I don't even care about the illness, honestly. Like I'm not worried about that.
Nope.
I have Walker and I'm playing him, but I'd rather play Jordan Mason. It's close though.
I just wanted to make sure I had Cooper Kupp on my bench because I told you that I did, but I do. Okay. Yes, I agree with the Jordan Mason over Kenneth Walker. But if I didn't have Jordan Mason or a better option, I would still feel okay playing Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker, Wandell Robinson, who was the other name you threw out there, that would be a Kenneth Walker for sure. Hi, Charlie. Chase Brown, Whittington. I think that we did this one already, and the answer was Chase Brown.
Right.
Okay. Rachel, this is for a Guillotine league. Flex spot. Tank Dell. Jaden Reed. Oh, I know Fabs' answer. He's in love. Josh Jacobs, Devon Achane, James Conner, Nick Chubb.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm going number 1. Those are all like bench options for you. Like, holy cow, that's good. I mean, it is a Guillotine league, so I guess that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, Jaden Reed. I love Jaden Reed. I don't know. It's hard for me not to say Jaden Reed. And I think he's the best fantasy player out of this group, considering their circumstances. It might be Achane if it was Tua, but he's not there yet. Let's hope he comes back
next week, but we don't know yet. We haven't seen him since, the knee injury. I don't think that they're going to throw him out there and give him full volume. So that might happen in the next few weeks. You might, good for you for having him in Guillotine, because that might click at exactly the right time later on in the season. But I think I'd probably go Jaden Reed. And I would definitely, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I would definitely go Jaden Reed in this situation. Madison or Sermon?
Yeah, I'm going to go Sermon here because Zamir's coming back. And the Dolphins are not good against the run. They're bad against running backs. So is Sermon a lock because Goodson's also there? I mean, no. But the same goes for Madison. I'd rather go Sermon. And I know the Rams defense is caca too, but I'd still rather go Sermon.
I guess.
I know. Listen, it ain't, unicorns and rainbows there for sure.
I'm feeling your pain with that decision.
Mhm.
And but I think Goodson is maybe better than Sermon and might end up with more of those carries, but I don't know yet. Nick Chubb, Zay Flowers, Jamison Williams at the flex. Okay, this is full point PPR, and he's already playing Amon-Ra, so keep that in mind with the
Zay. What you want?
No, you
But
didn't.
don't play games with my affection. Anybody who's an old school 80s person and remembers that song, Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's Zay Flowers.
Would you
You
care
remember
to
that
put like
song?
a tune to it to just ring a bell?
Zay, what you want, but don't play games with my affections. No, you don't remember that song? Such a great song.
No, I mean, I remembered it before you sang. I just wanted you to sing.
I'll
but
play it. That was good. And I wasn't even, Jen isn't even here.
Okay.
I did the Bee Gees, by the way, last week. It was good. It was bad. Good. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Zay Jamison for me out of those three, and I can't get mad at the Zay. Let's go Zay. The Vikings defense is incredible. I'm gonna go Zay. Okay. The given pick 3: Bijan, Barkley, Cook, Dobbins, Hunt, Chubb.
Look at this roster.
Yeah.
My goodness gracious, Bijan, Barkley, and Dobbins.
That's my 3 too.
Yeah.
I love it when we're on the same page, Fabs. I don't like fighting with you. All right, let's go to the next one.
I think you kind of do, actually.
Well, sometimes it's fun, but sometimes it's also fun not fighting with you for a change of pace. Jacob, hi, welcome to the show. Oh man, this whole Cooper Cup thing is such a bummer. Okay, Romeo Dobbs.
It's a 4 o'clock window bummer. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know. So, if you want to hold on to him, I don't actually think with these situations, I would actually just play somebody else, right? Like if you've got, not Noah Brown. Noah Brown.
But here's the thing though. If you want to wait on Cooper Kupp, you have Whittington. So you have the handcuff out of the group. I'd go Pittman. But if you want to wait,
yeah,
I don't think Whittington's an awful play. Like he plays the slot. The Raiders are not good. I would not like tell you, no, you should just play Pittman. If you want to wait on Cooper Kupp and he's inactive, I don't think Jordan Whittington is a bad play.
Also, with regards to Pittman, remember it's Anthony Richardson again. And Anthony Richardson did not have the rapport with Pittman early in the season that we would have liked for him to have. He said lovely things about him. He's a huge fan, right? Like that's something clearly that is a priority and that they'll be working on. But we haven't seen it necessarily click with those two yet this year. So
Downs too, same thing with Downs. Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
I don't hate the idea of Cooper Jordan because that matchup is.
Yeah, the Raiders are no good.
It's a good one. I might do that.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Jacob, for joining us here on this Sunday morning live stream, which we do every single Sunday, 12 Eastern. We'll take you for about 45 minutes at least. Try and get as many lineups right as we possibly can. Like Jay, for instance, who's joining us from YouTube. Jordan Mason, Nick Chubb, or Pickens. This is Jordan Mason.
Correct. Yep.
We
Mason.
both like Jordan Mason a lot. Nick Chubb, just, wait a week. We need to get our feel for him. Mojo, Addison or Connor for the flex PPR spot. This is Addison.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. It's close. I'd like Addison today. I really do. Like Connor just scares me. The Chargers defense is good.
I think that's good. That's the primary point is that you've been saying all week, like, just beware, like James Conner, don't love. That's been a consistent theme. So if that's the case, obviously that is to a point, right? Like at a certain point, you're like, I'm not saying don't play him no matter what and play anyone else over him. But in this case, you have a good option in Jordan Addison. Okie doke. Good stuff, guys. We'll keep them going. We'll do some rapid fire here. Darnold or Mahomes?
Better call Saul. Here we go. This has got to make Lindsay Rhodes the happiest girl in Southern California.
Bring
Start
it.
Sam Darnold over Patrick Mahomes and don't think twice about it.
And don't think twice.
Patrick Mahomes is not a good fantasy quarterback. He's mid. He's super mid. 100% mid. He ain't fire, and he ain't R1000.
What's happening? Okay. Good morning to you also. It's Guna. It's gonna be May. I do this every time. What's
Guna?
wrong with me? Well, I'm reading it like phonetic. I'm like reading it, and I didn't see the whole picture first. This is when you have to say out loud, and then you go, "Oh, duh!" But you've already done that before, literally with this person, and did this exact same reaction. I'm an idiot. Okay, it's gonna be May. CMC's on IR. You have Mason and Garendo. Liggett and Watson are on the wire. Should I drop Garendo for either of those receivers? Liggett or Watson?
So first off, do you need him? That's what I would say.
You just said he has CMC, Ian Mason, and Garendo.
No. Right. No. But do you need Leggett or I'm assuming that's Christian.
Oh,
Watson.
do you need a wide receiver?
Do you need a wide receiver? Like, I mean, if they're going to just like be on your bench,
right?
I don't really mind having the entire Niners backfield just in case.
Yep.
If you need to start like Leggett, whatever the hell his name is, Liggett. Like if you need him to start him, like, okay, I mean, I could see that because it's a good matchup. But if you don't need these guys and it's just kind of like, meh, I'm guessing if those two are on the waiver wire, there's some other decent wide receivers too, in which case I'd rather just stick and be safe with the Niners backfield. And then the other question is Chase Brown over Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt or Chase Brown. Okay. I agree with his assessment there. And also keep in mind, and I did this in the league where I was trying to figure out how to make room for my kicker and my defense, just because I didn't want to drop Brandon Aubrey, which is a different story. But ultimately, I hung on to like all of the running backs, even ones that I thought weren't like Zach Moss, who I don't think is necessarily anybody I have to have on my roster anymore, because it looks like Chase Brown has kind of taken over to the point of the second question. But you need those guys more than you need the wide receiver depth, unless you are light at wide receiver. But most of the time you can find wide receivers. You have a hard time finding running backs.
I had a team that I had the same thing. I had all three 49ers running backs, and then I made a trade. And we could talk about, remember that massive trade I made in the last minute league with Adam Wainwright? That's a big one. You guys want to know what it is? I'll tell you. Who gets the better end of this deal? Saquon Barkley, DK Metcalf, Josh Downs, Chase Brown. 4, McCaffrey, Kupp, Devontae Adams, Ramondre Stevenson. Who wins? If you guys want to throw that in, let us know. I'm not going to tell you which side I'm on.
All right. In the comments, let us know if you're on Team Barkley or Team CMC, plus all of the other people. That's way too many people to trade, by the way, though, Fabs. Like now, like once you start trading 4 players, like 8 players in a trade, now the whole thing is like, I would turn that trade down just because of the volume and the amount of brain power that you're making me exercise to figure out whether it's a good trade or not.
No fun.
Anyway. All right. Who do we have next, Doug? Where are we going? Christopher is back again. Christopher wants to know who has the most Riz out of these options and also who is the most mid. Would it be crazy to flex Chase Brown over Tyreek? I don't think it would be crazy.
I don't think it's crazy. No, I don't think it's crazy. I kind of like Tyreek because the Colts are not good. I kind of like Tyreek, but it's not crazy. Certainly it's not crazy. And you get 2 points for 10 yards rushing. So that's a little bit of a wrinkle in the scoring system. So that might push you towards Chase. London and Devontae at wide receiver is very good. Who is the most mid? Listen, I don't think any of them are mid. I think they all have like all 1,000 potential. They all have the potential to be fire and Riz. But
if my child was here, he would be so embarrassed for you. Okay. Like,
number one,
so
Jackson
embarrassing.
does not talk like that.
You're so embarrassing, grown up. These are not your words.
Whatever.
No, he actually doesn't talk like that at all. That's my impression of what he should like of his inner monologue.
Valley girl.
If he was a girl, and if anyway, let's keep it going. Guillermo, Juju, Worthy, Lockett, Mooney. We're picking 2 here. It's PPR.
Mooney is definitely going to be one of them. I kind of would go with. I think I'd go with Lockett. I think I'd go with Lockett over Juju. High scoring game, Lindsay. That's going to be a high scoring game. Seattle, Atlanta. Lockett had a good game last week.
Yeah.
Lockett's not completely out of it. If you want to take Juju, it's fine. Lindsay wants to say Juju. She's dying to say Juju. So if you want to go Juju and Mooney, that's fine.
Okay. Or Lockett.
See
'cause
that?
that's who he
Now,
likes.
Lindsay and I have been together for a long time. I've
Yeah.
been with her longer than she's been with her husband, but I am not her husband.
That's
I am her
weird.
pal. We're like brother and sister. But I know that it's better sometimes to agree with her than go and, just like Matt knows, it's probably a good idea for me to listen to my wife's advice. And even if it goes wrong, I'm still not in the doghouse.
By the way, I told Matt that our producer Doug notified me that he walked through the background of last week's live stream with his shirt off, and to please stay out of the shot if he wasn't clothed fully.
Well, actually,
And he was
what
like,
would be
"I'm gonna do
funny,
it again." He's like, "I'm gonna do it again. This is gonna be a
I'm gonna text
theme
him.
now."
I'm gonna
So
text
if you
him.
know, don't you dare. Actually, I think he's gone. I think he's at a baseball game already.
Okay,
Rolando, Flex, Jordan Mason, or Lad McConkey if he plays.
Yeah, and Ramondre got me a bad. I know, Rolando. Trust me, I'm. Ugh. Sorry,
It's Jordan.
Jordan Mason.
It's Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan Mason.
It's Jordan. Okay. Shady Grady. Tight
Like
end. Zach Ertz, Tucker Kraft, full point PPR. I'm going Ertz.
Ertz.
Yay. We're on the
Yep.
same page. Nicole, good morning. Kareem Hunter, Jamison Williams in the flex for standard.
Standard. Kareem Hunt and standard.
Okay. Yep. Same. Also, throw in some kicker love. How about this? Harrison Butker or Chase
Nicole,
McLaughlin.
number one, you should not have 2 kickers. But you should keep Harrison Butker.
Okay. Well,
McLaughlin's-
maybe she's thinking of picking up
McLaughlin's been good.
McLaughlin off the wire.
Yeah, he's been good.
Shouldn't she be shaming
But I'm
Nicole?
going.
You
I'm
don't know
going
what
with
she's
Butker.
doing.
I didn't shame her. I'm giving her advice. It's what I do.
Okay. I have 2 kickers in one of my leagues. I already told you, and it's because I have Brandon Aubrey and he's on a bye and I don't want to drop him. And I think that you would agree that I shouldn't drop him. Oh, what? Oh, what are you telling me to keep 2 kickers this week? What, Fabs? Huh?
Well, in that case, of course, you don't cut Brandon Aubrey. He's the best kicker in fantasy football. He's the best fantasy player on the Cowboys, by the way.
Does anyone else notice that I did the pretend like I'm listening to the microphone? That's where I talk. That's not where the words come into my brain. Anyway, Mike Evans or David Montgomery in half.
Somebody's had too much coffee.
Not enough, apparently.
The Short King. I've been called Short King before. I'm not tall. I'm going Montgomery. I mean, Evans has got a great matchup. He's off the injury report. So I don't think I'd worry about just a decoy kind of thing. He's off the injury report. Yeah. He practiced yesterday. So that's my bias with DM, who's been nails. All right, go with Evans.
It's a good matchup. It's a good matchup. Charlie is back. Red Sox still better than Doug pushed this one through. Our producer is a Red Sox fan, and he has been just traumatized in the last week by Fabs and his celebration. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Chase Brown or Whittington?
We've already answered this question 738 times. And by the way, no. Do you remember the 90s when we had a dynasty and we beat the S out of your Red Sox? Do you remember Aaron effing Boone and Pedro Martinez calling the Yankees his daddy? Do you remember that?
Okay, Doug.
Probably not.
Doug sent us a message. Let's go rapid fire. And then he pushes that one through. You invite the man with the microphone to talk about the Yankees for 10 minutes if you push through a Red Sox comment. That's all I'm saying. I get the strategy. I think that it backfires, though, when he has the mic and you don't. Full point PPR, Mooney or Adams?
Adams.
Me too. Njoku or Kincaid?
Man, this is tough because I don't love Kincaid's matchup at all. I'll go Kincaid. I don't love his matchup, though. Yeah.
Jaden Daniels or Josh Allen? It's Jaden Daniels.
Can I tell you that we've had 2 questions about Josh Allen and we've told both people to sit him?
Yeah. What? I know. It's going to fix. And by the way, it doesn't mean he's playing poorly. Okay. So don't start that whole baloney narrative. And guess how many interceptions he's thrown? Oh, what? 0? Oh, what? That's a huge problem for this guy? No, it's not. Anyway, simmer down. But it's not working in fantasy at the moment. So we can wait and let them fix out their offensive stuff and then plug them right back in. Andrews or Kraft?
With fingers and toes crossed, I'm going to go with Mark Andrews.
Okay. Tony Keith, Higgins, Smith, Hill, Tyreek. I'm guessing it's Devontae Smith and Tank Dell. We need 3 of those 4.
Dell's out for me.
Okay. I can support that. I support this message. Thank you very much, Jen. Hope you're well as well. Ferguson's on a bye. Didn't we do this one? Nope. Maybe not. Njoku, Kraft, Ertz, or Fant.
Wow. Njoku and I think I go Njoku out of that. You got 4 tight ends, or maybe there's some waiver wire guys.
Or
But
options.
yeah, I'd go Njoku.
Okay. And they were already thinking Njoku because
Yep.
of Amari Cooper being gone. So
Yep.
you just are confirming, I think, what they were already leaning
Yes.
towards. McLaurin or Jaden Reed? Oh,
John, how
how
can you
deep is
not
your
start
love?
both? I know.
Did you like? By the way,
Wow, dude.
that was your song on Friday. You just
I
went
know.
right through the fact that I was.
I
able to
know.
let
You want me
you
to
go.
sing it again? I can't. I got to get the falsetto going. Listen, I'm going to let Lindsay answer this one because I love Jaden Reed, but I love McLaurin too. Go ahead, Lindsay. You take this one.
Anyone notice how I can't?
I have Jaden Reed
I-
ranked higher. I mean,
I'm going
they're
Jaden.
both
I would go
awesome.
Jaden. I would go
They're
Jaden.
both really, really good options.
Although it's Carolina, Fabs.
I know. I have Jaden Reed at 8 and McLaurin at 10. I mean, they're both right there. So
to me, this feels like what does your gut say? Who do you want to root for? Like, we're split, so I don't know that there's like a right answer or an emphatic answer. Some of our answers are emphatic, like please go do this. Jordan Mason, all the Jordan Mason questions, play him. In this case, I feel like it's a toss-up. So
yeah,
I don't know. Charbonnet or Josh Palmer?
This is a rough
Standard.
one.
Standard.
Here's the thing though. Quentin Johnston's not going to play. And Ladd is questionable. So Palmer might get a few more opportunities and Walker's playing. So like we really would have to take Charbonnet thinking that Walker would be limited somehow because he's got an illness. That's hard for me to play Charbonnet though, over Palmer with Johnston out. I'd probably go Palmer.
All right. What do you got for us, Fair Fabs?
What's this? Oh, how about that? Look at that. It's pretty. It's red. It's candy apple red, like a fire engine.
It's
and
like
this will be
shiny.
Well, you know,
like in the metallic-y sort of way. Like obviously they're all shiny now.
So if you're a Texans fan or you just dig helmets like I do, this will be up for grabs. By the way, Craig, we haven't forgotten about you, Goff or Cousins. I'm going Goff in that game. All you have to do is go to iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts, leave a review. You can say that Lindsay is the best and that Fab sucks. I don't care what you do. As long as it's 5 stars, you can say the great Fabini is amazing. I want more of him. I want less, whatever it is. Leave a review and a screenshot and send it to @FantasyDirtPod, or you can send it to me or Lindsay.
Also proof that you're following and subscribing.
That's right. So screenshot it. Yeah. And then at the maybe in a week or two, we will tally them all up. Yeah. You'll be put into the raffle. And if you win, you get this one. We've already given away an Eagles alternate black helmet, which, by the way, I believe Mark won that one, and he was very happy about that. So, but this is it. This is up for grabs right here. The candy apple red Houston Texans helmet. All you have to do is leave us a nice review. Well, for Lindsay, and then you can crap on me. I don't care. Just leave something nice.
Craig, I want to go back to your question real quick, and then we're going to say goodbye because I have to go set all my lineups. I think they're all set, but I just need to make sure. I don't know if I wouldn't start Cousins, Fabs, over Goff. You're looking at the Vikings defense, which is really, really good. And then you have said over and over and over again, you're expecting Atlanta-Seattle to be a shootout. So you're looking at a shootout in a matchup where it's a better matchup in terms of the defense that he's facing. What's your thought process about Goff over Cousins?
Because I think the Vikings defense is the defenses are not going to perform today. It's going to be a high scoring game. And sometimes that happens where defense is just as good as they are get thrown out the window. And do we think the Ravens defense is good? I mean, how many points have they given up in certain games? So I'm just going.
Their pass defense isn't.
I get it. This is the best team that Minnesota's faced. Best team they faced. So I'm going Goff.
Okay. Yep. But they also faced San Francisco and they faced Houston. And
at the
time we thought that they were they were very, very good. I realized, yes, I'm on board with the Lions and especially the Lions offense versus the Vikings defense. That matchup, like which one is gonna win?
The Rams and the Cardinals have beaten the Niners this year. So I mean, they've been kind of mid.
Craig, I hate to split this and make it even like less helpful, but I would probably go Cousins in that situation. Like I do buy into the Vikings defense. I think that they're very, very good. And I think that it's going to be an incredible battle but I don't know if I would feel comfortable. Goff isn't like a high-end fantasy quarterback anyway, right? Like he's kind of mid, as you might say.
Last 2 weeks, he's been Aura 1000 though.
Oh my God. Okay. On that note, I have to go because I can't do that anymore. Mr. Soriano's fine with that, but like it's driving me nuts. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. You're the best. We'll be back again next Sunday, noon Eastern, with your start sit questions. Love helping you out and spending time with you. And also reminder, 5 days a week, we've got the Fantasy Dirt podcast, and leave those reviews and screenshot them to us so you can win that lovely Houston Texans helmet. We'll see you again, guys.